Hi guys. I'm still watching the episode.
Since I asked him to leave, he's been writing his notes. I have more that he gave me.
What does the note say?
It's just a saying, you know. Give me another.
Just got to the part where Evelyn calls what's her name a thing? Jenny a thing? Come on, Evelyn. Come on, Evelyn. So rude. Have you guys watched the episode? I know that was one of the call outs that I go live too early. But, you know, it is what it is. Star Ninja, Mari, Summer Dragonfly. Hi, Anna. Hi, Jasmine. Hello. So, as per usual, we're getting started a little early just so more people can come into the room. I'm going to finish the touches of my makeup. Carrie, hello. Star Ninja and Carrie, welcome. I don't know your names. I appreciate you guys joining. I changed it from purple to blue. Hello. I want to finish watching the episode, but I don't want to get like dinged or demonetized because this means excuse me. Oh, okay, Carrie, good to know. Jen, hello. Helena, hello. Was it a painful episode? I'm not done. I feel bad. Can I put you guys on mute and like finish watching the episode? Hi, Joy. I'm going to put you guys on mute. Let me make a note because people are going to be upset. Let me make a note. Okay, let's see. Recap will begin at like 6, I don't know, 30? give me some more time. PST, as I am still... Okay. All right. I'll give it at that. And then I'm going to put you guys on mute. So let everybody know. Amanda. Oh my God. So many people that I've just names I've never seen before. Thank you guys. How long you got? Till 6:30. Oh, well, let me just tell you exactly how long I have. I've watched 57 minutes and the episode is an hour and 25. So I've got like 28 more minutes. Sorry. But I'll be jumping back and forth. Put your questions in. Let's have a kiki, but I don't want to get dinged for not for like playing the show. Otherwise, I'd do it in the background so you guys could hear it. Okay, I'm going mute. Evelyn just called Jenny that thing. Oh my God. Let me put that in my notes. She says that she's having a hard time processing her breakup with Corey because Corey's still like hanging around. That thing, she's so terrible. She's so terrible. if Evelyn serves him divorce papers, he says he's going to rip them up in her face.
Do you think this is going to be like really
This
expensive?
is inappropriate. Like, you are the one who did this thing.
Victor and I have been in San Andreas for about a week. We are going to Providencia tomorrow morning, and this time we're hoping to start rebuilding.
We need like some.
I am so bored with Ellie and Victor. Like, I don't care about their storyline at all.
Financially, this is going to be a strain. Like, it's nothing I'd really planned for or budgeted for. I had planned to go to Providencia and live with Victor. Now I'm renting a place in San Andreas, and I'm also paying for the reconstruction of the house.
Yikes, mama.
It's funny because I don't think in our hardware stores you can just buy a machete.
No.
Yes, you can. Where else do you get machetes from, girl?
Oh, you mean where I buy?
Yeah, where you buy everything.
Victor, he doesn't have any
Amanda,
money.
hello.
He's been, like, living in
Globe
COVID and
Hopper,
now this hurricane.
hello.
So it's putting a lot of pressure on me.
We need like a drill.
Hello, hello, hello. As RuPaul would say.
558. Oh my god, that's really expensive. I could get a drill in the US for like $50.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that Victor like necessarily sees the value of money sometimes. I think he thinks I'm American and I just have like mad money.
Buku money.
And when something costs like almost twice as much as what I normally spend, it's really hard to justify spending that money.
I'm going on mute again.
And also the fact that
What's
I
kava?
do think of the battle within myself, within my family, within the government, and everything we would have to go through to adopt, because it is a very long process and it just might never happen and not work for us 5 years down the line. But I think if my family knew we were having a baby, they'd have better feelings than if we said we're going to adopt a child with HIV. There'd be so much judgment around it.
I wouldn't.
I'm gonna skip Armando and Kenny because, like, I don't care. I want to get to what happens with Jenny and Sumit. And
is a long
yeah.
road. I understand.
Y'all, I just got a little snippet of the kitchen in Jenny and Sumit's house, and I am shocked and appalled. I am shocked. Wow. Recap has not started. Oh my god. That is bananas. Somebody asked me what my lipstick is. I got a Miriam, that's what it is. It is Bigelow number 12 Rose Salve. It's just like a lip gloss. You know, the ones that you get in line when you're minding your own business and they have all this junk around you, so you start pulling stuff. Okay, girl. Why I lost 10 pounds in 10 days so far. How? Can't wait to hit 100. Girl, good for you. I need to go on the cabbage soup diet, is what I need to do. All right, let me get back. Let me finish watching this. I wish that I could watch it and not get in trouble. So going back on mute. Y'all. Yeah, Jenny and Sumit, you are absolutely correct. I am shocked. I'm shocked. Anyway, what's happening with Quasi? Miriam, I got blood work done because I thought I needed a surgeon to look at the knee surgeon. Oh no, what's wrong, Mickey? No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mickey. I'm glad that everything's okay and you're on the up and up. Whew. No, something is attacking your bones? Girl, I'm so sorry. Positive energy and vibes towards you. Oh no, that's horrible. That is horrible. All right, 32 people in this room. We are going to get started in about 9 minutes. So go and get your drinks. And you know what? Lashes make a difference. They really do. They really do. Lashes make such a difference. All right. So what's everybody talking about? What you guys doing? Oh, I have a song. Let's sing the song. Let's get the words. Let's get the word. It's 6 p.m. in the evening. We're here to talk 90 days. Stop on by to have a kiki drama of the other way. Set the time and the date, 5 after 6 on Sundays. Catch me live or hashtag replay gang. Either way, you've made my day. All right. Y'all, this episode, first of all, I hope that you guys have Discovery Plus so that you can watch it early. That's my hope for you. But if you can't, then you can watch the regular episode. I imagine it's a full 2 hours with commercials, but I just got it done in a little over 2 hours because I kept stopping to do stuff. And then I looked up and it was 5:30 and I was like, oh my God, I have to go live, but I still have 45 minutes left. So that's what happened. I came live, explained to the folks in the room what was going on, and then I finished watching the episode. I had to skip Henny. I had to skip Kenny and Armando because they are just like on a different wavelength. Like I almost feel like Kenny and Armando are on a different type of show. Like I want to see drama. I want to see trash. You know? It's just like they are so cookie cutter and just so like boring in a way that's heartfelt and great. Like it's a great version of them, of, their relationship and of what's happening in Mexico right now. But like, do I want to watch it? No. I feel like Kenny and Armando should be on one of those spinoffs for 90 Day Fiancé. Like, not 90 Day Bears All, but like one of the ones that nobody watches. Like Single Life, but not Single Life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so if you guys can give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. I appreciate it. And we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. So I hope everybody comes into the room. There's only 35 people in here. I wonder if there was more, and because I wasn't live, they all left. But I doubt it. Maybe they're all going to come back at 6:30. Girl, I don't know. What's today? It's not a holiday. Where is everybody? Happily Ever After. Yes, they need to be on Happily Ever After. Yeah, like I don't care. I don't care what's happening with them right now. 5 after 6 on Sunday. But you know what? The usual suspects are here, and so I appreciate all of you guys that are in the room right now. I really do appreciate it. I really do. Taking your time out of your Sunday evening to talk to me. You guys, I'm traveling tomorrow. So I live about 4 hours from Vegas. So I'm going to drive to Las Vegas tomorrow. I have work in Las Vegas up until the 29th. If anybody is in the Vegas area, my birthday is this weekend. Friday is my actual birthday, but I don't know that I'll be up to meeting new people, mainly because, you know, how my anxiety works and how my introvert tendencies are working. However, if anybody is in the Vegas area and you want to meet me in a casino at the blackjack table, holla at your girl, because that's where I'll be at. A blackjack table, you know, cautiously spending my money. And as soon as I lose, I will get up and leave. But I play a very safe game. So I would love to run into anybody. Just let me know. And we can just like meet up, maybe sing some karaoke on Saturday. I don't know. I'm already going to meet up with Tiana, who I have not seen on on YouTube in so long. I'm going to Facebook her. Look at it. I'm like an old person. I'm going to send a message to her on Instagram and tell her I'm going live if she wants to join. I'm live. If you want to join. Okay, great. Or hashtag replay game. Either way, you made my day. Okay. Anyways, so that's what's happening with me. It's my birthday weekend coming up. And if anybody wants to meet me, like I said, at a blackjack table. Oh, Jasmine, please recommend a karaoke spot. I think it's still run by my girl, Charlie. Recommend it. I'll find a karaoke spot either way it goes. But yeah, now that I can have a little drink, I'll sit at the blackjack tables and have me some margaritas. Oh yeah, Ellis Island. That's exactly where Chris and I went the last time. It is Ellis Island. Yep, Chris and I went there. There is a Britney Spears slot machine on the way in, and I played it. Hit me, baby, one more time. And she hit me, girl. I won a little money on that machine. Okay. Oh, Mickey, I am trying to figure out a way. I mean, I know you don't live anywhere near there, or near, but like not close enough. There is, my company might have a need to send me to Quebec. So I might be in Quebec in December. But that doesn't mean anything because you're in Toronto. I will be in not Montreal, but looks like from a map, like about maybe 30 minutes south of Montreal in a place called like De Leon. I don't really do the French, you know what I'm saying? It's not the language extracurricular language that I learned. But yeah, it's going to be kind of sticky because Quebec, I have to have an interpreter to speak to people in HR. And I was like, really? Yeah, but I do. Anyways, see what's gonna happen. Waiting for the recap. One more to my 5-year girl. Hi from the new. Oh, hello. All right, guys, we are about to get started. And so I hope that you guys are, ready and buckled in. I'm waiting for it to turn 6:30 so that I can take this off my screen and get started. Let's take this off. Let's throw that on. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 3, Episode 8, Selective Virtues. Yeah, I did it. All right, you guys, as per usual, please share on any social media platform that you deem fit. I have been live for 40 minutes without actually talking about the show. So if you guys are part of the replay gang, please look down below and you'll see the timestamp. I actually should have said that 40 minutes ago, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to leave a comment or do some, magic stuff once this video is done. If you would like to give a tip, ticker going across the screen is how you can do that. And I am much appreciated if you would like to donate to the Baby Fund, which is something that I'm going to be starting in January, IVF. But let's get started. Okay, first couple that we're going to talk about is Evelyn and Corey, just because they had the least amount. But like Evelyn, I mean, she's always ready to pack a punch with her rude self. Okay, so we pick up after Evelyn and Corey have basically broken up, and Evelyn has asked Corey to leave, and he's in this place where he really feels like he's just going to try to court her to death. And he's been writing her letters and doing all this sweet stuff. And she's just like, I can't even fully process what happened, or I can't get over it or get to a place where I'm comfortable with him because he's always around. He told me that he was going to respect the fact that I want to not see his stupid face, yet he isn't respecting the fact that I don't want to see his stupid face because he's still coming around doing stuff. Why is he giving me flowers? Why is he doing whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop? I don't know. But, I haven't really talked to him since he told me about that thing. And I was like, Evelyn, do you gotta be rude and crazy the entire time? Like, can we not get a part of you that isn't just the first thing that comes along of your brain? You are on a TV show, and a part of being on a TV show is being likable. Now, I get that you want to be the villain, but it hurts you to be the villain. Because people are crazy, and they be in your DM saying all kinds of crazy stuff to you, which I understand. But then maybe you should try to be just a little bit nicer. So he's outside of her door and he's got flowers, and she's like, why do you have flowers? And he's like, because I love you. Because I love you. I want to tell you that I love you. And she's like, listen, I don't want to have to get the law or the landlord involved, but if you don't leave and respect my wishes, then I will. Can you please sign the divorce papers? And he's like, no. I still think that, there's a chance for us. I would like to give this relationship a go. And I'm like, you can't give a relationship a go if the other person does not want to be involved. Like, the other person doesn't want to be involved. So, like, what do you mean? And he's like, if Evelyn were to give me divorce papers right now, I would rip them up in front of her face. And I'm like, so what is that going to prove your love? Rico? Suave? Like, suavemente, besame. Like, is that what he thinks is going to happen if he just keeps on forcing himself into her life after he lied to her in such a monumental way and made this girl cry? She's over it. She wants nothing to do with him, and she wants him to sign the divorce papers once she gets them. And I just find his actions to be annoying. Like, I get why she's the way she is, but, like, something wrong with that man. And it leads me to believe that there is some kind of, listen, I don't know. But I really do feel that Mormons get a bad rap on this show because the worst Mormons come through. This man lost his father and swore on his father's grave that he did not have sex with Yanni because his pee-pee couldn't get up. And it's just like, why? And then we've got Steven on here who doesn't even want to take responsibility for the things that he did and the hypocrisy that he is living because he feels like everybody makes mistakes. And somehow the doctrine of his community, of his religion, has got this person thinking that what he's done is basically okay. I mean, it's not okay, but like, God will forgive him and we'll move on. It's like, no. So now that we've just already said the names, of Evelyn and not Evelyn, of Alina and Corey, let's move on to Alina and Corey, because listen, Mama Alina came through with all of the side-eye and wisdom that we needed this episode. Did she not? She sure did. So let me bust out my notes and let's start from the beginning. All right. So picture this. Mama Alina, Stephen, lunch with a view. Beautiful. Turkey. I mean, I want to travel to Turkey so bad now after their segment. So they're having lunch and Steven's like, can I have the mango and banana frozen drink? And I'm like, ew, mango and banana. And here's the truth. I don't know if I would normally think mango and banana is disgusting. But because he ordered it, I think it's gross. Now, I like a mango situation. I like a mango strawberry. I like a mango con limon. I like a mango by itself. I do not like a banana. The only acceptable banana drink is strawberry banana, and that's because it's been looped together for most of my life, and so it makes sense to me, but even then I wouldn't order it. So Alina orders a limonada, and Mama Alina orders an iced coffee. And Alina says, so no coffee, not even a sip? And he's like, no. God told our prophets we should not drink alcohol or caffeine for our health. And then Mama Alina says, are these principles based in real facts? Like, is coffee harmful? And he's like, by taking care of our bodies, we will be blessed with knowledge, and the angel of destruction will pass by. Now, I know that like regular Christianity must sound crazy to people who aren't Christians, right? Like the burning bush, you know, the whole 7 days of creation, Cain and Abel, you know, David being like, send that woman's husband to the front of the line so that he may be murdered. Like, I mean, there was just a lot going on in the Bible, old and new, that from, I think, an outsider's perspective might be a little like, I say what? I say what? I say what? What your prophets say? But then you've got another level when it comes to the Latter-day Saints. And I'm like, is that what it says? By taking care of our bodies, we will be blessed with knowledge, and the angel of destruction will pass us by. Blessed with what knowledge? And who is the angel of destruction? I didn't learn any of that. And so for me, it's like, I say what now? I say who? You're soaking in what? Whose vagina? It is like, I'm like, oh, did not know that at all. And so Helena says, that's so interesting because before I drink coffee every morning and I'm fine. And he's like, whoa. And at this point, we now know that this person obviously went through his missionary work. And so he is doing his best with trying to represent his religion and spread the gospel as much as possible, as well as like not really understand the things that he is saying so that he can truly convince a skeptical being. Because if someone is skeptical about your religion, you do not tell them that the angel of death will pass them by if they don't drink coffee. That's all I'm saying. That's not a line for me. That is the wrong missionary line or position. Okay, anyways. And so she's like, well, now you don't have to worry about your teeth being yellow. And I'm like, Steven, your teeth are yellow and you full on don't drink any of those things. So I don't understand like what that has to do with anything. And then he's like, it's really important that you start thinking about being baptized. And I said to myself, who are you talking to? He's like, I know you're really worried about your daughter being baptized in the church. And so like, you know, it's a hard thing, but you should consider being baptized in the church. He's talking to Mama Alina. And she's like, no, I'm pretty good with the Orthodox. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with that. I'm good. And he's like, well, you know, it would make Alina happy if when we had kids down the road, if her mother were religious as well, or were Mormon as well, just for our kids' sake. And I said, Stephen, do you not realize that you were laying this on pretty thick at lunch? And that the mother already feels some type of way about you. And that's the thing. He didn't know that the mother already kind of felt some way. No, but he does know. He does know that Mama Alina feels some kind of way about him. And so I don't know why at this juncture, when he's just dropped the bomb that he is not kept with the chastity commandment, that he thinks like at this moment, this is the time to try to get Alina's mother on board with being baptized in the Mormon church. I am just like, Stephen, just because you are walking around with your Mormon underwear on at this moment and you're feeling really steeped in the gospel of your prophets, you got to read the room, hun. You got to read that room. And here's the truth. As somebody who like was raised in the Christian church, I think it's crazy that all sins are the same. Like having premarital sex and using the Lord's name in vain, coveting your neighbor's wife or oxen or animals should not be the same as murder. That's the one thing I was like, wait a minute, all sins are the same. So then if all sins are the same and lying is the same as having sex out of marriage, then why wouldn't I just be super honest and have sex? Because at least the sex feels good. And then I can say I've never lied. It is just like bananas. It was just weird. Anyways, so he thinks that he's going to get this mom. The mom is like, absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about. And then he tries to put it on Alina that she would be happy if her mother were Mormon because then their kids would be happier. And I'm like, why? Why can't they just be good people? Like, wouldn't you be happy if like your mother-in-law was just a good person and who was like devout in any like of a Christian religion, right? Because the Orthodox is still a Christian religion, right? So it's like at this point you're just mincing things. You're just like mincing choices. If y'all believe in Jesus Christ and you believe in being good people, then like let's move on into the sunset together. Okay, like I'm not gonna like you believe that Jesus came to the U.S. afterwards and like sent the angel Moroni to talk to Joseph Smith, and that's fine. You can more than 100% believe that. You can more not want caffeine in your life. You can believe in the keeping your body a temple to that degree. That is absolutely fine. But I mean, like, you don't need to convert this woman who already doesn't like you. It's not a good look. Okay. And so then Alina is just like getting mad at that whole thing. And then she's like, so I can't have coffee, but you can break your chastity commandments. And then he's like, well, everyone has his weak side. And then she's like, you can live without coffee, but not sex. Mother Alina come through. It was very Star Wars like. I mean, they were just coming. They were coming with and Stephen wasn't prepared for it because for whatever reason, all of his training did not prepare him for this. Oh, it was crazy. No, the prophet is not John Wayne. The prophet is John Smith. The first prophet. And so then he's like, I didn't think Alina would tell her mother about my sex. So I'm really shocked and kind of annoyed that they would bring it up at lunch because I didn't expect lunch to go this way. And then he's like, well, eating veggies after eating a candy bar is really hard. And now I know what I have to give up. So I'm better on the other side of my chastity desire. And then she's like, but you weren't chaste during a time when I thought that you and I were together exclusively and you were expecting me to be chaste. So you knew that you were putting an expectation on me that you were not willing to abide by. How does that doesn't seem fair. And then he's like, I just started having sex at 23, so it's like, okay, but you've kissed hundreds of women. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So she's like, I don't like hypocrites, and I don't want to marry somebody like that. You broke your vows, and I honestly thought we were on the same page. And so she's like, okay, Steven, you can go now. Bye. They didn't even let the man eat, okay? They said, you can go now. I need to talk with my mom. So her mother's like, listen, there's no reason for you to continue a relationship like this. Like, a relationship can't be built on the foundation of, lies and deceit. And, I really do think you should come back with me to Russia. And Elena's not really willing to leave it yet. She's like, I thought I was going to have a fairy tale and Steven and I, we're going to be together forever, but I think that's not it. And I'm like, girl, you're 20, you have so much life. Oh God, you have so much life ahead of you. You have so much life ahead of you. And you're putting all your eggs in this stupid Steven basket. And I am just like, no. Mm-mm. So then later, her and her mother go for a walk, and they go to a fortune teller where they have a rabbit pick like a fortune out of a Rolodex. And the rabbit picks a fortune that basically tells Elena that, you're going to be with somebody who loves you right now. And that's the person you're supposed to be with or whatever. And then she says that Russians are very superstitious. And so now this has got her brain going back and forth and she doesn't quite know what to do. And I'm just like, oh, well, listen, let me tell you what it isn't. It isn't Steven. Like, it is not Steven. It's not, because he is such a hypocrite, and he should have been honest with her to begin with. And I don't like the fact that he leans on the fact that he, he's weak and men are weak, and I'm like, nah. Whew, no, not at all. Something is happening with this eyelash. Oh, it's coming off. That's what's going on. This eyelash is just like not doing what it's supposed to have done. It's not giving what it should have been given. Okay. So let's move on to the next couple that I want to talk about. Let's talk about Kenny and Armando real quick because they're quick. So in this segment with Kenny and Armando, they are out on the veranda, and Kenny and Armando are having a spa day with Hannah, girl. So Hannah's getting her nails did, everything did. And Kenny's talking about how he hasn't done this in a very long time. It's been about 15 years since he's painted nails. And they're having just a really cute moment with Hannah, and then Hannah's done, so he goes into the house. And then they start talking about the fact that they're thinking of, or were thinking of, adopting a kid around Hannah's age. And now Armando's thinking, let's have a baby. And in fact, not only do we want to have a baby, but I would like to do in vitro. Surrogate in vitro fertilization. And I said, Armando, who's paying for this? Who gonna pay for this? Who gonna pay for this procedure? And he just feels like he has Hannah, and that's his blood. And he would love for Kenny and them to have like a baby that is Kenny's blood. And Kenny's like, people who are my age don't start thinking about having kids, because we really do think that there's more life behind us in the rear view than going forward. Kenny is almost 60 years old. And even if they did have a kid, that child would lose Kenny in their 20s. No? I mean, maybe. I mean, unless Kenny lived to a sprite 90. But if Kenny doesn't have a kid till he's 60, like, he has to live till 90 for that kid to be 30. You know what I'm saying? And Kenny's really thinking about that. And also Kenny's like, I already got 4 kids that I'm had to give their inheritance to. Why are we going to add a 5th kid to that? Like, I got 4 whole grown kids, okay, that I got to take care of. And now you want me to bring in a newborn baby? And so at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just like something that the producers told Armando to say, because like them adopting a kid around the same age as Hannah makes sense. But them like having a baby from scratch, to me, does not make any sense. Not at 60. And so Kenny is crying for some reason. I don't know why he starts to cry. But he says that because I guess he doesn't want to hurt Armando's feelings. And then later on in the episode, they go to an orphanage because now they're thinking about adopting. And specifically, it's because Armando has called several adoption agencies to, see like what it would be like for a same-sex couple to adopt in Mexico. And because most of them are, I guess, public, he had to go with private ones because private ones would adopt to same-sex couples. And so he found one that has children who are HIV positive. And I would have never thought of that as an option. And I thought it was really sweet. And I hope that they do adopt a little child that is HIV positive. And so Kenny gives us a little bit of an understanding of what it was like for him when he first came out and how people died, from the virus all over his life. And it was a very, very scary time. And it's so crazy because hearing like my older gay friends talk about the 80s and how so many people died and how they're lucky to have made it out. Like it literally was a very traumatic era for for my gay brethren, and I've had, it's really quite crazy to think that there was an epidemic happening in a community and nobody gave a F about. And the people of color from that community suffered more than any other group of people. And there were even doctors who didn't want to take care of HIV, AIDS patients. And to think that there was a time when there were like medical professionals who didn't want to help people with HIV because that's the stigma surrounding it. And that, it's traumatic. I mean, I imagine that any gay male in the 80s, in the late 70s, 80s, early 90s that made it out really counted themselves very lucky because, what we know now about protection and just the way diseases move is completely different than a time when you only got your information from newspapers and newscasters. Like, as much as there's a lot of crap on the internet, it still has readily allowed us, at least in the US, to be able to research things boots the house down. So I just am like, yes, Jasmine, the movie Philadelphia was. And I remember just like watching movies like Philadelphia and watching like Paris is Burning and watching just a lot of shows and movies about AIDS and HIV and the epidemic. And like, and even how it's spread with needles. Like, so it's not just gay people. It's like drug addicts. Anybody sharing needles would get HIV AIDS. So it's just like, it's like a crazy thing that happened in this world and that people are still suffering the effects of that trauma because they were in those communities that were heavily affected by it. And Black people are still heavily affected by HIV in this country. And because it's so taboo and there's not enough education and people don't get tested the way that they should, like, I think I heard like 5 years ago, like the group of people that were being hit the hardest with HIV at some point were Black women, were poor Black women, because it's just kind of like people don't get tested. People just, be out there. And now we're at a place where like people are able to take medications and live basically an untraceable life. And if the HIV in your body is untraceable, then it's not able to be passed on to somebody else. So now we're like in a holy grail, different world coming with HIV and AIDS. And there's so many treatments. And if you get tested, then you can stop it very early and, become undetectable. And so, but it's just still affecting people in such a hard way. And so to see them go to an orphanage for that, then Armando's like, well, I don't want to necessarily adopt a kid with HIV because then that's more questions and stigma that my family's going to have. And Kenny's like, well, that's on your family at this point. Like, we've already gone through the hard part of coming out and saying we're going to get married. Now, if we would like to adopt a sick child who not their own, not their, like, it's like, I get that there's a stigma, but I guess what I also don't understand is surrounding that stigma is the fact that you would look at a child and say, I'm not going to adopt you because you have a disease that you did not ask for. You did not go out there and get it. You weren't, you didn't get it. You were born with it because of your parents or your mother or however you got it. And like, now Armando doesn't want to adopt a kid? Like, it to me, it's just like, okay, Armando, okay. I was with you with the coming out to your parents and forcing them into your wedding. I was with you. But now I'm just like, no, you're just going to have to explain to them, or you just don't tell them. Like, you just make sure your child takes their medication as normal. You just tell them that, like, you know, this kid is whatever. And as long, you know, and Kenny's also talking about how he wonders about the drugs and the medications in Mexico, and will they be able to get it, and how much it's going to cost. And so he's worried about that side of it, being able to keep the child healthy. But I'm just like, if your parents have a stigma, or your family have a stigma around you adopting a child in need, adopting a child with a disease that they did not go out and get themselves, then I'm like, that's a different conversation that y'all need to have. So anyways, I get that there's a stigma. However, don't put that on your parents. And Dania, you're right. If that is what he is thinking, then that's fine. Then just say that. But don't say like the stigma of it, because like at that point, to me, it's a child. And I was like, oh, I want to adopt a kid with HIV. Like, I was like that. I didn't even think of that. Like, oh, anyways. So that's the way I felt about that. And I think that they're going to have further discussion. They went to a playground with Hannah, and they were discussing something, but I had to fast forward through it. And I think they were discussing the fact that he didn't want to maybe adopt a kid with HIV because he didn't want to have the stigma with his family. And I was just like, well, your family's going to have to get over that. And that's 100% their fault. And I think that Kenny is right with, like, that's their issue. So yes, next couple that we are going to talk about is Avi and Ari, which aren't the people, Benny and Avi. Benny and Ari. Avi is the baby. Who's so cute. Okay, so Ari and Avi are on an airplane, and they are like hopping around the world trying to get to the US. Okay, they're in Frankfurter, Germany. They're Frankfurt, not Frankfurter. And they're, you know, just Avi's being a good sport, and they're flying. And Avi, I mean, he's just so cute. So they get picked up at the airport. Grandparents are very excited to see them. Grandfather's so excited. Grandmother's like, hey, remember me from video chat? It's me. And Avi's like, more people that look like my mother. Okay. And so then she gets in the car and she's like, oh my God, it's like so crazy to be back in New Jersey and like feel the New Jersey air. And like, I just want to get reacclimated with my home. And her parents are they're all just really excited. They're in the car driving back, and she decides she's going to call Benny to see what he's doing. And he answers right away. He's very cordial to the entire family. He's saying hello. He's hearing his son is hearing his voice. And Ari's really excited because now she's like finally at home with her peoples. And then she asks him what he's doing. And he says, I'm out with my friends because I didn't want to be alone or bored. And now she's like worried. She's like, oh, okay, so now you're really out in the streets. And she's like, I didn't really think about how me being away was going to affect our relationship. Like, and now I'm worried that something's up. That, like, you know, now that, you know, like, she's like, he could be doing whatever. He might get mad at her and cheat on her. Like, she doesn't know. And so now she's kind of worried about it, which I get why she would be worried about that. I do get that. He, to me, is not a trustworthy individual. So the mother was like, oh, Benny sounds so much better than I thought he would be. And Ari's like, yeah, I know. He sounds great. He sounds real happy. And so she is staying with her sister, and she's really excited to introduce Avi to her brother. Her brother Elliot comes over, and she's just kind of settling in. It's been a couple of, you know, days, and she's feeding Avi some chicken. Her brother comes in and like hugs the baby. It's really joyous and whatnot. And they all sit down to eat. And the mother is like, I really do think you should consider just moving to the US. Like, what's going on with your K1 visa? Like, what are you guys doing? And she's like, well, pandemic hit. So Benny can't come even if he wanted to because of all of that. And so we're just kind of waiting. They did cash my check though. And so then the sister was like, okay, Ari, you had your little fun. Now it's time to get serious, okay? Avi will have better opportunity and an easier time with schooling and better schools if you just move back to the US. And my American imperial flag went up because I said to myself, I'm sorry, Ethiopia is in one of the oldest parts of the entire world. Ethiopian culture is one of the oldest cultures in the world. So you are telling me that his education won't be good in Ethiopia? Why? Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Also, Avi is black. So you're saying that he's going to have a better time in Princeton, New Jersey, than in a country with people who look more like him than not. And then I got mad. And I was like, take that baby back to Ethiopia to be with his peoples. Because I don't like that. That is not true. Ariel has a black child and she wants to raise him in uppity, whitey white Princeton, New Jersey. Because he's going to have better opportunities. Why doesn't he just, I mean, like what? He's only 8 months. Like, start him in school. Get him learning other languages, like other cultures. And then maybe in high school or whatever, if you wanted to bring him back to the US and do that, like, I guess. But like, I just wasn't feeling that whole line because they completely negated the fact that he's a black boy in America. Like, yes, a surgery, bring him to the US. But I'm not going to say that America has better education than any other country in the world. Because in a lot of parts of the US, that is not true. And if you have to go against his cultural references and being a black child in America versus him being a black child or a mixed child or a lighter skinned individual in Ethiopia, I'm going to go on ahead and go towards Ethiopia just as a personally as a black person. So I was just like, I'm not into it. I wasn't into that whole line of conversation. And I got a little annoyed and I was like, please take that boy back. Because you are being foolish if you think that him being in Princeton as one of probably only black kids is going to give him a better education. I mean, like, it may be, but the emotional toil of being in this country is going to be hard. Like, I'm sorry. You guys don't realize your privilege and what you're putting your son to. Just, it was too much. I was like, no, you did your thing. You did your little thing. Now it's about getting ready for real life. Safety and a good education. Safety from what? I'm sorry, what? As far as I recall of my like a little history lesson, like Ethiopia is like got a pretty, like, you know, they had a whole king and that whole king had a whole group of Rastafarians, like, okay, what are you talking about? Like, Selassie I? Come on, Selassie the First? Now, I'm not saying Ethiopia is a perfect nation. I don't know about the political climate of Ethiopia. But what I am saying is that, like, it's Ethiopia. What are you talking about? That is in a place in the world where, like, education isn't, like, terrible. Oh God, Europeans are so annoying. Anyways, so Ari's just sitting there kind of listening to them talk about that. And I don't remember what her reaction is, but if I were her, I mean, maybe she doesn't know the difference, but she needs to go back. Period. That's what I think. All right, next couple that we're going to talk about is Ellie and Victor. Their storyline is a little boring and a little weird, but you know, whatever it is. So basically, Ellie talks like Vic has a pot to pee in. She says the word we a lot, and then when she's mad, she says I. I clocked it, I checked it, I peeped it out. So let's bring up the notes. I shouldn't have eaten this. Hold on. Yuli, welcome. Hello. Tiana, welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay, so Ellie's like, we live in a hotel. We need a home base because it'll be cheaper. We are spending a lot of money right now doing a hotel. So what we did was we got a house in San Andreas. Now, it's not what Vic wants to do. He would love to just like hammer and pedal it out on Providencia. I don't know. Just live in meager and less than operable conditions in Providencia so no one takes his house, right? And so they're moving into this, they rented a house. So they're moving into their house and she's like, you smell good. And he's like, oh, really? This is cheap cologne. And she's like, well, whatever it is, it smells good. And I'm like, oh, girl, this woman is in love. Okay. She in love with him. So then she brings up the conversation about him cheating. And this is where I see Victor's eyes glaze over. And this is red flag number 2. Because she's literally saying, a woman reached out to me and told me that to leave you alone because you were happy with her and that she was paying for things, you were living with her, and that you wanted her to buy you a motorcycle. So tell me what's going on. Like, what was the whole purpose of that? And he was like, well, just wanted, it was quarantine and I was just saying those things because, it was quarantine and I didn't really mean anything by it. And she's like, well, I don't think you really understand how much you hurt me and how much I feel like she was basically saying how much you hurt her too, because you lied to her and you made up this fantasy for her and it wasn't real. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to use every day to get you to understand that you could trust me. And I know I hurt your feelings, but it really wasn't anything serious for me. And I said to myself, you're a grown man. That thing that you just did is something that like a 22-year-old, 23-year-old fuckboy does. You are a grown ass adult male and you moved in with a woman and you lied to her face. And then you somehow told her about Ellie. So she finds Ellie on Facebook and then tells Ellie all of the business. And now you want Ellie to believe you that you're actually over it and happy and like don't want to hurt her. And I'm just like, I don't believe it. You're too grown to be playing games like that with people's hearts. And the only reason why Ellie is accepting what it is that you're putting down right now is because she has no other choice but to. She's already invested in you. She's already given you $5,000 to do stuff. And so at this point, does she stop and be alone or does she just move forward with somebody who lied to her? But also she's probably like, I now live here, so I'll be able to watch him, even if he is not telling the truth. And I would rather sleep next to this scheming ass, lying ass man than not have anyone, because at least he makes me happy and treats me nice. And so, like, again, I'm not judging Ellie because I'm like, this is a grown woman making grown woman choices and all I have to do is just watch it. But I'm like, Vic, no, he's not to be trusted. And the only reason why he's as sweet as docile as he is right now is because he is in a negative, like he's literally in the negative. Like he has nothing and he needs her. So he's going to do and say whatever it is that he needs to say and do because she's the only person there for him. Like, I just can't. It was just like, you a grown ass man. Like, he's like 38 or 37. Like, him and I are the same age. Like, no, at this grown ass age, you don't get to just lie and make things up and spin somebody a whole story because it's quarantine and you were bored. That shows who you are. And then he's like, well, you believe everything that woman says, so I don't understand. It's like, I'm sorry, what? If somebody writes me a letter and tells me things, like my first thought isn't like, oh, this person is lying. Like, what do you mean? Of course I believe what this person is saying because it's been proven that you are not to be trusted or believed because you are, in fact, a liar. So, what? But anyways, so he's like, always and forever, I'll be asking you to pardon me for that. And she's just like, you're so matter of fact about it, but you cause so much pain. And when you injure someone like that, it takes a while to recover. And he's like, yeah. You know, I apologize, you know, and I'll apologize until you have faith in me. And she's like, okay. So I think this is like, you know, the story she's going to tell Harumi. And so that Harumi will get off her back. Next scene is that they now need to buy supplies. And they're in a hardware store and they're buying a Makita for like $100. And she's like, I could buy a Makita in the States for $50. And I was like, nah, you could buy a Makita in the States for $85, like a good one. And I'm using Makita because that's the brand name. You could also get a DeWalt for $85. Like those things are closer to $100 than $50. And if you did get a $50 one, then you got the Black & Decker pink and white set that they sell to women with very low wattage. And she's like, oh, that thing lasts a week. And I was like, not with heavy use, sis. What you're talking about is that little one that they sell to women. You're not talking about the grown man's Makita or the grown man's automatic drill. So like you are paying more than you would in the States, but you're getting an item that isn't necessary. Like, not that isn't necessary, but I feel like in the States, people have things in their houses that maybe people in other countries just don't have, especially small islands, right? Like there's no reason for anyone on Providencia or every household in Providencia to have an electric drill, right? I grew up with them, many of them in the house, because my father is obsessed with tools. And like, so I know how to use one. And there's like, right now I could go into the garage and literally find 3 of them and all of their attachments and accoutrements. But in a place like that where like, you know, you're getting things shipped in and is it American brand? I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes into it. So yes, it is going to be a little bit more. And she's now trying to like be a penny pincher because now she is spending all this money. So she changed from we got a house to I'm spending all this money and I'm trying to penny pinch. And then she says that he doesn't understand because he just thinks like I'm a rich American. But like, then that means that's a conversation that y'all need to have before you leave, right? Before you get into the store, you need to say, what are we getting? How much do those things normally cost? And here's what I'm budgeting for this. And then he's like, oh, we need a generator then if we're going to charge this. And she's like, we don't need a generator to charge a battery for an hour. And he's like, okay. So he asked the man, it's like, how long does this battery last? And he's like, an hour. And she's like, what? And I'm like, girl, if you wanted that good old G&E, American Electric, General Electric, then you needed to stay in the US, okay? Because power grids don't be power gridding everywhere like it do in the US, okay? Because the US power grids be powering gridding. And in other places, I have noticed that they don't. For example, when I charge my phone in the US, it charges in like 40 minutes. When I charge my phone in Belize, it charges in an hour and a half. It just is what it is because the power grid don't be power gridding, you know? And if you're already in a place where people have to use a generator, which you use generators in the US, but where I have been and lived in the US, generators aren't a thing, right? I know that they happen. I know that they're in different places in the country, but it's not here. So I'm like, if she's in Seattle, she don't be generating like that unless, you know, maybe from her like farm town that she grew up in for sure. Yeah. But like, Mama's been living in Seattle for a minute now. So I imagine that she doesn't necessarily like understand that like places need generators. And if you want to charge something, you got to get a place with a generator. So listen, it's a lot of like, all of a sudden she don't want to spend money on stuff because everybody thinks like when you go to these places that things are cheaper, which they are, certain things are. But like, if you need to rebuild your whole house, ma'am, things might be a little bit more expensive, especially if your whole house is on an island that takes 4 hours to get to from the mainland. So there's that. Speaking of an island and 4 hours away, did I binge watch Midnight Mass last night? Yes. Did I have to skip through and Wikipedia some of the episodes? Yes. Because girl. I needed that storyline to move much faster. If you guys are interested in a horror show about a small island that's about a couple hours away from the mainland, then you're going to want to watch Midnight Mass. But anyways, so I was just kind of like, I see where Ellie's coming from, and I get it that she's feeling kind of used and kind of wants to stop that from happening, but then she needs to have a very clear conversation with what she can afford and what she can't afford. And I also thought to myself, girl, didn't you sell a whole business? Like, should you not have more money? Like, I'm sorry, how much money did you go there with? Is it just the access to it? Or like, what is it that, I don't know, like, I don't know, girl. Sabine. Yeah, I did watch it. I powered through it. Like after the third episode, it wasn't giving me what I needed, so I just like went on Wikipedia and then read it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I like skipped to episode, I think like 5, and then like watched that whole episode, and then the next day, the next episode, kind of fast forward through. It was a little slow in some parts. I do like that actress, Katie Siegel. She's in this movie called Hush, which I really enjoy. And Hush is a movie about a deaf woman who is being terrorized by this like psychopath outside of her home, and she like kills it. I mean, like she does a good job in that role. So anyways, there's that. So I'm gonna watch whatever else. I didn't watch Folklore. I was really close to watching that one, but I chose Midnight Mass. Like maybe tonight I'll watch Folklore as well. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I'm asking for show suggestions. So if you have a show suggestion, please do tell me so that I can watch it, and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, anyways, let's get back to them. So the last bit of Ellie and Vic, I saw they were just in the hardware store, and she's like trying to pinch pennies, and he's getting kind of frustrated at the fact she doesn't want to purchase things, and that she's asking questions back and forth regarding it. Yeah, Hush was really good. Okay, so, and the last couple that we are going to talk about, and for me, the last ones that I just watched that was just shocking, was Jenny and Sumit. Now, you know I'm on their side. Girl, I watch a lot of other recappers talk about Jenny and Sumit, and everyone is over Jenny and Sumit. Except for me. Everyone is over them. Like, everyone is like, Sumit's a scammer. Sumit's never going to marry Jenny. And Jenny's over here like, whoa, I love Sumit. Oh. And I was like, wow, everyone does Jenny's voice. I thought I was the only one. No, girl, everybody does Jenny's voice. Well, me and Sumit were supposed to get married last year, but we didn't get married because of his parents. Like, I was so gagged at the way everybody. And honestly, I'm going to tell you that I really do think that Nikki Starr does a great impersonation of Jenny. Like, I think she does a great impersonation. And listen, everybody's over them except for me. Okay, let me bring up my notes so that I can talk about it. All right, so first we've got Jenny, and she's meeting with her friend, Dipali, and it's really her only female friend, and it is Sumit's friend's sister. So that's how she met this person, and Dipali is like, I am 200%, 1000% in line with Jenny and Sumit's relationship. I think that they are right for each other, and I 100% support them. Jenny says that she gets along with people that are younger than her, and it's just like weird for her, but like she just absolutely does. And I looked at Dipali and I was like, is she that much younger than you? I mean, she's younger than you, girl, but like you made it seem like she was like Gen Z. I get Gen Z and Gen X mixed up. And I was like, Dipali is definitely older than me, girl. She definitely late 40s. So, okay. So she's like, guess what? We went and met with Sumit's parents we went and met with Sumit's parents, and we went to counseling with them, and the counselor was trying to help us get along better. And then Dipali was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And Jenny's like, and then guess what? Guess what she said? And Dipali's like, what? She said, well, she wanted to move in with me and Sumit. And DePauli had the same reaction that I did. Was like, good. Okay, this is going in the right direction. And, you know, this is going to be what needs to happen. And, you know, this is your opportunity to make a good impression. And Jenny's like, well, what I think is that she's trying to sabotage me and just move in with Sumit and I and make my life a living hell and say, oh, let's kick Jenny out of the country. Let's kick Jenny back to America. And DePauli's like, why don't you think her offer is genuine? I really do think that you should give her an opportunity, you know? And then she's like, well, she wants to teach me how to be a good Indian wife, but I'm too old for that. Like, I'm not a young girl. I don't need any help. And also, don't forget, I'm American. And DePauli's like, but you're in India. So, what? Like, you know, in India, your age gap is a huge difference. And it's not going to be acceptable. So, like, if this is what the hoop you need to jump through, then you need to jump through it. And, like, this is the chance you've been waiting for, so let's give it a chance. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll, you know, try to be positive about it, but I just feel like they're just trying to sabotage me and Sumit's relationship. But okay. Have you tried the ropes? And so then the next scene is them prepping for the parents' visit. And furniture is being brought into the house, and Sumit says, well, I want my parents to choose wherever it is that they want to live. Like, stay. Like, whatever the feng shui, whatever, like, the energies tell them, chakras and whatnots. If they want to come stay in this room, they can stay in this room. If they want to take over our room, they can take over our room. I just want them to have the luxury to choose to do that, because I think this is a grand opportunity for us to really show them how happy and healthy we are, and how you are, you know, the wife for me. And if I'm honest, I do, you know, miss my parents. Like, I do miss them a lot. And Jenny is offended by this, because she's like, well, Sumit, are you saying that you aren't happy here with me? You don't think I miss my family? At least you can just go and see your family at any time you would like to. I can't just get on a plane. And he's like, listen, I'm not saying that you don't miss your family. I'm just saying that I miss mine. So please don't get upset. I'm just saying that I miss my parents. I've lived with them all my life. And to not live with them I miss them. Also, like, we're going to have to kind of acclimate to the Indian lifestyle. Like, right now, we don't live that lifestyle. You know, we do things the way we want to do it. And in her confessionals, Jenny's like, I'm living my best life. I'm just doing whatever I wanted to do, because all my life I've had 2 or 3 jobs, and like, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, and now I'm just living my best life. You know, and I just like, okay, Jenny, I get that, but you also married somebody from a completely different culture and moved to the country, and his family hates you, so like, come on. And, you know, he's like, my parents get up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning so they can get started with their day, and, you know, and we don't do that. And so I just kind of want to show them like what it is that we do here and how everything is okay. And Jenny's like, well, why don't we move in with them? I mean, they have a much better and nicer house than we do. And he's like, well, I mean, that would be social suicide. So I'm not going to do that for them, because, you know, it wouldn't be a good look. Then they'd have to explain to you guys, to all of their family and friends about you. And like, no, like, let's get them on our side before we move into their house and cause a bunch of problems. I'm seeing the comments on the side, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not looking at you guys. Why I can't with you. Aw, thanks. I would give them the bedroom too. Absolutely, I would give them the bedroom. How is it that I'm having Wi-Fi problems? I'm not even on Wi-Fi. Good morning, Ramsterdam. Welcome to the room, Ramsterdam. Yeah, you guys, don't forget to like this video. Hello, if you're in the room, you enjoy what's happening, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Can I sing? I'll sing for you guys. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. thumbs it up, thumbs it up. Yeah. Okay. So back to the situation at hand. Let's see, what was I saying? Where are they at? Okay, so then the time comes for the parents to show up, and they're nervous in the cab ride, thinking that Jenny is as stubborn as a mule and that she's gonna have a hard time teaching her how to be a proper Indian wife because Jenny's too old to learn anything new, yada, 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 yada. So they get to the house, Jenny is cleaning, in preparation of them being there. I see her cleaning. So I'm assuming the house is clean. Okay? But my assumptions are incorrect. Mother gets into the house and they sit down in the living room and she looks at the table, coffee table, and she's like, oh, is what? Okay. Coffee table has rings on it because they don't use coasters, and so it's caused rings. But I'm like, is that like imprinted rings, or is that just like I put a cup of water on here she did not clean. She did not clean, you guys. I don't want to shame anybody in this room because I know that this idea of not being able to clean or not seeing dirt in the way that I see it is something that is prevalent in my life. And I often have been shocked when I've gone to people's houses who have invited me over. And I go to use their bathroom and I'm confused because I'm like, you invited me to your dirty ass house and I don't understand why. I don't understand why you didn't clean the toilet. I should walk into the bathroom and smell clean. Because you can smell clean. It smells like chemicals and or like nothing. Like, shit is bananas to me when I walk into somebody's house and I open up their toilet to sit down and it's like dirty on the inside. Now, sometimes I can tell that that's just what the hard water does. But other times you can tell that that is not what the hard water does. And that person just thinks like that is the way the toilet is. And that is the way it looks after you've used it a couple times. And you would not believe how many people's houses are dirty. And here's the truth. I don't care if your house is dirty. But what I'm saying is I should not be privy to it. And it's a real problem if you are unable to see the dirt in your house and you are real comfortable inviting people over to a dirty ass house. It's the comfort for me. It's the fact that you invited me over and I get there and I'm uncomfortable sitting on a toilet seat because I can tell it has not been washed. And I'm sitting, like, I just can only imagine what the germs are looking like on that toilet seat. Or you walk in their house and you smell syrup and you're just like, why is it that I smell syrup? Why do I smell your cat? Like, it's fine if you want a house that smells like cat and syrup, but don't invite people into it. Tell them, no, I'm sorry, my house is like a wreck and it'll always be a wreck for the rest of my life. It's something that I can't manage. It's not for me. I don't care about it. I'm okay with stewing in my own dirt. I don't want you to come into my house in my own dirt. I've been in houses that are junky, right? But you can tell that it's clean. Now, listen, there's only so much clean a house can be that's junky. But what I'm saying is, like, you can tell that the person, like, cleaned. They're pack rat. But shit is, like, generally clean. Like, at least the toilet and the sink, girl. Like, listen. You hover at people's house? See, I don't hover at people's houses. Girl? I hover in public. Like, these thigh muscles, I can't do it. Anyways, and so I know I went off on a tangent, but like, my thing is like, you are trying to impress these people. Why is your shit not clean? Why is Sumit not saying, clean this up? And I think what happens is that Sumit is not used to cleaning himself. So he doesn't quite understand how to clean. And so because he's used to his mother cleaning and keeping a tight house, he's actually quite excited that his mother is going to come there and teach Jenny how to clean. And I said to myself, no, it's not that Jenny doesn't know how to clean. It's not that she doesn't know how to keep a house. She does. It's just, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know this woman. I don't know if she does know how to keep a house. What I'm saying is that I don't understand people who don't clean. That's what I'm going to say. I don't understand it because I don't understand. I've never lived that life. Like, I am surrounded by mess. It's messy. Okay. But I wash this every time I wash. I wash this every time I wash, which is like every 2 weeks, week and a half, week if necessary. If my dog has been on this, I wash it immediately. Like, I'm aware. I don't sit on outside. I get home from wherever I'm at work, going to eat. I take off those pants. Outside pants do not sit on this couch. So like, and I have a cover on the couch. This is a cover. So like, it is like bananas to me that somebody is trying to impress their mother-in-law and allows them to come into this kitchen and you are not even sweeping your floor. There are onion peels on the floor, you nasty cochina. It's like she thinks that her kitchen is outside. Mama, your kitchen is not outside. You gotta sweep your floor. Did I see a cilantro stalk on the floor? I did. And Sumit doesn't know how to clean it. He's like, get the broom. And she's like, I don't know where the broom is. What? You don't know where the broom is? And it's not like even Sumit can go and clean it up because he's probably never been taught how to clean. He's never probably like really understood it. Like, have you seen somebody try to sweep when they've never really swept? And they like, the way they hold the broom is like they pull and drag as opposed to sweeping. Whenever I see somebody pull and drag with the sweep, with the broom, I go, oh, okay. Okay. All right. I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. Like, I just am like, I was shocked. And she was getting frustrated having to clean. And that the mother was just bossing her around. And I said, Jenny, you can't have people coming. You cannot expect people to live in your filth. And that's just the beginning and the end of it. You cannot expect people to live in your filth. She's like, this is my house. I'm like, it is, but you have guests. And your guests don't want to live in your filth. Mother is like, when you're done with the dishes, put them away. Now, okay, that to me was like, don't be telling me, like, no, if I want to keep my dishes in this dish rack, they will stay in this dish rack. There's 2 people that live in this house. I don't need to put the dishes away every single time. I get that. But if you know people are coming and they're going to scrutinize you, then just clean your house. But that says to me that you obviously don't know how to clean or you don't see dirt. You don't understand that you have to lift things up and clean around them and behind them. Like, that's just, it is what it is. And especially if there's like pests and she doesn't know what a broom is. So this woman has lived in this house for how many months and she's never swept? And the sink? That sink was like, girl. Whew, you know, everybody has different standards of life. And I was just shocked. I was shocked. I was shocked. I was shocked. Okay. Anyways, that's just enough about it. That's enough of shaming Jenny and her. I just am like, mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. hard to believe Jenny kept her place messy and dirty in the US. From what Jenny was saying about living her best life, maybe oh, you know, you're right. But I'm saying she knew these people were coming. So why give them fodder? That's the thing that is like crazy to me. It's not like they just showed up and the house was the way. She knew they were coming. And so I'm just like, clean up. Sweep your floor, girl. Like that to me is basic. The place where you cook and prepare food had as much debris and dust underneath everything as it did. Was she just like, well, the kitchen's not being done, so like F it? But I'm still like, I don't know. It was just like, yeah, like she had to like, she 3 times. Sweep, the dump. Mother's like, throw it in the trash bin. Sweep, blah, 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 dump. Like 3 times. She did not sweep the kitchen. And she didn't even clean off the coffee table. That is what I'm saying. These are like not like, it's not the baseboards. It's not like we're looking in corners and seeing like dirt in corners. We're seeing mildew in the sink. We're seeing like things not being fully cleaned. I don't know. It's just like she set herself up for disaster. It can still be tidy and clean if she tried. She's a nut. Yeah, it is just like, you're too, I don't know. It's just like, you know these people are coming over and you chose not to put your best foot forward. And then you're like, oh, I'm just doing what I want to do. No, people can't live in your filth, girl. Like that is what I will stand behind 100%. No one should have to live in somebody else's filth. If you let them come over, then that's just what it is. Okay. Anything that I missed, you guys? Living my best life. I'm living my best life. Living my best life. Having a mother-in-law come visit when you clean is the hardest. Oh, yeah. I just am like, whew, girl. Versus says, what y'all think ain't none of Jenny's business. That's funny. Thank you, Ra. Thank you so much. For someone who no longer has a job and can wake up at whatever time and do whatever they want, sounds like a good life. I mean, but I'm like, you don't be sweeping your kitchen is crazy to me. That's a crazy concept. The amount of traffic and stuff that happens in the kitchen and there are onion peels on the ground. To me, that makes me believe that Jenny doesn't believe that she's in a real home. You cut up an onion and the sheddings of the onion are just on the ground. That's why I was like, does she think her kitchen is outside? Because that kind of shit you don't just leave on the ground. That means that there are crumbs on the ground. And that attracts critters. That's the thing that I'm like, I don't get it. So one thing she does tell Sumit is like, when your parents come, just can you have my back with things? Like if things are, if I, can you just like support me and so I'm not feeling alone? So you have my back. And the first thing he does is like, Jenny, find the broom. Well, I don't know where the broom is. Okay, Sumit, okay. Gosh. And the mother's like, Jenny. When you are put in cabinet, this blah, 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 blah. And he's like, when you're done with this, put it. I'm like, Sumit, are you taking notes as well, sir? I'd be like, Sumit, you need to take some notes so your mother understands that she wants the dishes put away. So you're responsible for putting the dishes away, Sumit. Mother's like, why is everything out on the cabinet? Why didn't you put everything up? Lynch is in my kitchen moving around my stuff. Girl, sweep your floor. Sweep your floor. I just am like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. Oh God, change the sheets. Thank you so much for saying that. If I get into sheets and it don't smell like Downy or like, you know, Souviel or whatever, if it don't smell like some kind of fabric softener, I'm like, I'm going. That's why I stay in hotels. Like, the truth be told, people be like, oh, come and stay at my house. And I'm like, I'll just stay in a hotel. So what I do is I'll stay in a hotel the first night, or I'll stay at their place the first night. And I'm like, I might stay at the first night. And then after that, if I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'll stay at a hotel. I'll just take the chances of a hotel. Suavitel, yeah. Like, girl, get it together. I need to, like, listen, I cannot be in people's places. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Sweep your floors. Y'all are walking around in like, I mean, you're in like little cabs. You're like out in a boat. Ooh, in a boot. Could you imagine? Like, living in New York City, I took my everything off at the door. I stripped at the door. I wanted none of that subway juice in my apartment. My shoes stayed at the door. Like, I swept all the time. I mopped my little entryway all the time because I wanted that space. Like, I just don't get it. Sweep your floors. Sweep your floors. Vacuum your carpets. Anyways. Thank you guys so much for being here. I 100% appreciate you guys. We're gonna watch the Family Chantel. Oh God, am I gonna be able to watch the Family Chantel? Am I gonna have strong Wi-Fi? Well, I'm a Hilton member and I'm staying at a Hilton brand place. So I should have a really good Wi-Fi. Guys, we're gonna boldly go where we were before, where the Wi-Fi might be terrible and there might not be any sun. But because I'm driving, I'm gonna take my lights with me. Yeah, I need a pack. I gotta go. All right, you guys. Everything next week and the week after will be from a Hilton hotel. Will be from the hotel in Vegas. As I said at the beginning of this video, I'm traveling. Let's watch the Family Chantel this week. Email me if you have any suggestions at justcallmewa@gmail.com for what I should talk about, and say what with Wa and Chris. I don't think it's happening because Chris is traveling. So maybe say what's not going to happen, but maybe it will. Girl, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm going to say right now, I don't know how I'm going to feel. But I am going to watch the Family Chantel tomorrow, and so we'll be able to catch up. So going ahead and if you have Verizon, as somebody said above, if you have Verizon, go on ahead and sign up for Discovery Plus so that you can watch the Family Chantel. As I've said before, I am traveling for work. As you guys know, if you guys have been following me, I traveled in August, I traveled in September, I'm now traveling in October, and I'll be traveling in November. So this is a season of travel. So I will be in 2 different places in California for the next couple of weeks. But yeah. So thank you guys so much for following me and so much support. I will see you either Monday night or Tuesday morning to talk about the Family Chantel, and then we'll talk about Love After Lockup later on in the week. You guys have a fantastic evening, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Living my best life. Living my best life.